Hi, I'm John.
I'm Preston.
This is Korra Alone. Nope. The whole title.
The whole title.
Say it. All of it.
All of it.
Even though last time I cut the entire thing out because I sounded like an idiot when I said it. No, I'll just type it in. All right, screw it. All right, so to recap, it starts with Korra in a bathroom, looking in a mirror, and it's all fractured and shattered. The symbolism is that
her fractured and shattered.
Yeah. She leaves the bathroom, almost gets hit by a car, trying to walk across the street, jumps out of the way into a little alley, and she's like all woozy suddenly, looks up, and freaking Demon Sea Death incarnate. Now, Korra, from like her book 3 finale version, she has the chain around her wrist. She's just like hunched over, looking, freaking, the eyes are glowing, like leaving like streaks as she moves and stuff. It's freaking awesome, actually. And she's like, you again. Dark Korra kind of like whips the chain around, around her leg, pulls her off her feet. She falls over. She's like walking toward her, and then Korra like firebends at her, leave me alone. Disappears. Everyone's like, oh, do you need help? She's like, no. She walks away. Then we get our first flashback, which, it can't be called Korra Alone, similar to Zuko Alone, without having flashbacks and things. And they had already said that they were going to do flashbacks. And first flashback, if you saw that very first clip they released, like, I think it was a couple weeks before the season premiered, it was just her leaving Republic City, and all her friends are just saying goodbye, and then she gets, to her home, which now she's living like in a big freaking
they're doing well now.
Yeah, I mean, well, her dad is chief.
Yeah.
So, kind of makes sense. She's like having a nightmare about Zahir. This is like, I think this is like the start of this Zahir thing. I don't even know really, because there's like there's a couple different things that are kind of like holding her back.
Yeah.
It's like you have the dark Avatar thing, the dark Korra thing, and then you also have like the Zahir flashbacks. It's like, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. She's just like reliving this traumatic experience. She wakes up. She's like sitting out on the balcony. Her mom's like, go see Katara. All right. Then we get probably some of my favorite scenes in this entire episode. And the stuff that I wanted to see, I was saying this back when season 3 ended. I was like, man, I really want to see Korra recovering. I want to see like the physical therapy side of it. I want to see all that. And I'm really glad they showed all that, because I thought it was all great. We got some really great Katara stuff, just showing like Katara's wisdom and how far she's grown, as a healer, taking all those experiences and from the original series, from her life, and who knows what else, she's been through. Katara tells her to like the Kill Bill moment.
Yeah, wiggle your toe.
Wiggle your toe. But that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it was Kill Bill. But she moves her toe, and it's kind of like that first little glimpse of hope. Oh, maybe she can get through this.
You can tell it definitely lifts her spirits whenever she actually does it.
Mm-hmm. It kind of sucks, because I think this episode would have worked really well as a 2-parter, actually.
Yeah, probably would have. Yeah,
I would have loved to have seen more of just her recuperating, and I definitely wanted to see more of it's kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I definitely wanted to see more of the traveling.
Yeah,
all those places she was visiting, and like
going through anything there would have been kind of neat.
Yeah, just looked really, really cool. Who knows? Maybe we'll see more of that later on.
It's possible.
Maybe. She was like Uncle Iroh. Like everything she was saying was freaking perfect. What were you gonna say?
I was just about to say, it was very much like Iroh, just being that almost voice of reason. In fact, kind of nice because you have the Zuko alone and Korra alone thing, and you've got their two characters of wisdom.
Yeah.
Kind of mirroring each other. Well, I guess only one of them mirroring, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, I think we could probably compare Korra to Zuko. You know,
Yeah.
some of the hardships and things. I mean, Zuko's whole arcing story was just his hardship and him dealing with, you know, crazy, ridiculous emotional scarring.
From the worst father of all history.
Physical scarring too. I mean, yeah. So there's definitely comparisons. Katara is definitely Korra's Ira.
Yeah.
To me, this was like the most realistic episode of Korra, I think too. Korra has always been more realistic, I think, just overall. But this episode was like just. I feel like I was just watching, like, real life. You know, I felt like I was just watching Korra. Like, I felt for her. You know, she's like recovering, and she's like when she's walking, like take that first step, and she's starting to do it, and she's starting to walk toward Naga. You know, and then she makes it, and like you get a little choked up. You're like, man, this is real. You know, like she's really struggling. I mean, it kind of spoils it in a way because you already know that she does eventually walk again, but still that moment, you know, Korra gets caught up, you know, on all the events of the world through letters from her friends. You know, there's a funny moment with Bolin. Obviously, it was made to be funny, but the whole time I was just thinking, so is Korra like
visualizing these words?
Yeah, is Korra like thinking this is how
the pictures?
Yeah, the pictures. She's like, because she's like so bored, she's like so sad and depressed looking. She's reading these things, and it's just like it's like a little kid like crayon drawing or something. So yeah, that was kind of funny.
It was a cute scene. If nothing
yeah,
else.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, you know, over the course of these letters, it seems like Korra's. I love the Korra friendship with Asami. I think that, you know, Korra needs like a sister. You know, she doesn't really have siblings. She doesn't have really anybody. She has her friends and stuff, but because Asami doesn't really have a lot to, she doesn't have a very big role in the series. Really, she's mostly like a businesswoman. So she doesn't really have like that same kind of.
Yeah, she didn't have the same role as like Mako or Bolin do even.
Asami seems so much older and just kind of almost
she seems
detached from them, you know. And
she almost seems like a, you know, yeah, she definitely seems older sister to Korra. It seems like.
Which that's why I love that letter. I mean, you feel bad for Mako and Bolin, but she's like, you know, I just. It's easier for me to talk to you about these things, you know, than them. You know, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Don't tell them. I don't think it was meant to cause like drama or whatever amongst the characters or anything. I just think that it's supposed to show that Korra and Asami, you know, have that sisterly bond. And over these years, it was like, you know, even though Bolin was like, oh, I want to be your pen pal, it was like, you know, Asami kind of became like that pen pal to her, that kind of older sister.
Yeah, she has, well, and the other two kind of have a, you know, downfalling for that. Bolin's kind of immature. And she dated Mako for quite a while, so there's kind of a thing there. Like, Asami's kind of almost a neutral in that kind of regard.
You know, season 1, it was kind of like they didn't really even talk to each other. Season 2, they didn't talk to each other. So, you know, season 3, they finally started like a friendship. It was like about freaking time, you know? Like, they should have been buddies.
Well, there was some struggle. There were some issues why not in the first season, at least.
I don't know. I'm not one to say like, oh, they messed up because, you know,
I don't think so.
The whole Mako and the Asami and.
But there's definitely a reason why they didn't necessarily buddy up in the first season.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it would have been like Avatar. Like everybody was like, kind of, they were young and they weren't thinking about relationships. They were thinking about, you know, just hanging out as buddies, you know, and doing really crazy things, and they bonded over these like really, really, you know, crazy things that were happening to them and stuff. And it was more fun to watch that than to see a bunch of like melodrama and stuff amongst, you know, Korra and her friends. Better late than never, I guess, but it's better. It's definitely better than previous interactions between the characters. I think I kind of passed up. It goes in with like Katara being like the kind of the Iroh of this episode, but like I really love that moment where Korra snapped at Katara.
Yeah.
The voice acting was fantastic. I thought the pacing of that scene was really good. That's like I said. That's why all those scenes, all the recovery scenes, were my favorite, because just those moments with Korra and Katara just felt really real to me. It reminded me of Aang, like before the battle, when they're all like kind of sitting around eating, and like Katara's like, "Oh look, I found a picture of Zuko," and then Zuko's like, "No, that's my dad." And they're kind of talking about like the humanity of Ozai, and like how can a little kid, a cute little baby, grow up to be like the most evil person ever? And it was like, Aang was like getting really angry, and he was like, I don't want to take his life, and they're kind of like, we're trying to help you, and it reminded me of that scene. Like you see that humanity in Aang, in that scene you kind of see this just broken, kind of frustrated. She even says it, you know, I'm tired, I'm so tired, you know. She's just done, you know. She just doesn't even want to try to get up and walk. You know, the whole episode is going between flashbacks and then kind of like present time. It goes back to present day Korra, and you know, she's walking down another alley or a road or something, and she sees like something behind her or whatever in the corner of her eye.
Yeah, something.
And then she turns, and then there's like a little dog. Freaking dog is a dog.
Yeah,
it's
just a dog.
It's just a dog. It's not
a cat dog. It's not a.
It's not a cat. It's not cat dog. It's not another Nickelodeon show.
Oh, please.
Seeing the dark Korra just kind of brings more light to this entity, whatever it is. Is it in her head? Is it
partially real?
Partially real.
What is
this thing?
But
It's probably nothing even worth talking about. But Korra was just like, "Well, you want me to follow you?" The dog's like barking, and then like walks over, and she's like, "Well, you want me to follow you?" And she kind of just looks at it for a second, and there's like this little beat, and she's like, you know, okay, I'll see what I find or whatever. Korra was like so willing to just follow this random dog, you know, like I feel like she's just completely so lost and she's wandering so much. She's like, yeah, I'll just follow this dog, you know. I mean, why not, you know? Which I feel like, to me, that's really uncharacteristic of her.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like the following type ever before.
It's not the Korra we know, you know. She's very, very different. It doesn't help, you know, that she's like, her friggin' face is like just black. Like, I mean, it's not black and blue, but it's like
she's obviously been in a fight. And,
yeah, you know.
Oh, well, she has, but
fight she did. The whole time you're just like, oh man, I can't. It sucks, you know. She's like, just looks like she got the crap out of her, and she did. But still, it just, you don't want to look at. You just feel bad. You just feel bad for this whole episode. You feel bad for Korra. This whole entire thing, you're just like, just get better. The next flashback, Korra is. I really don't know how much further in the time span this is, but she's much better. She's walking. You know, she's really excited. Tenzin comes to you know, check in on her, I guess, to visit her, and she's like, right away, she's like, come on, I want to show you how much better I'm doing, you know. And she's doing this fire
spar.
Like it almost mirrors that first scene of her in the very first episode of season 1. And it even has the same music, you know. She's got the Fire Nation armor on. She's like, you know, fighting. She's even like that same shot where it goes in camera and she's like separates the fire.
Yeah, punches right through the fire. And
yeah, except this time
she sees Zahir again.
And it, you know, she falters. She just like starts firing wildly, and she just gets hit and falls over. And then Tenzin's like, "Oh no, stop!" You know. And then, you know, she's just kind of standing there all. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know, but he's like, "You need to be."
And then she just cuts him off.
If you say patient, I'm gonna water smack you in the mouth. I mean, that's just like something I wanted to bring up. I actually put this on Facebook, like yesterday or something. I was like, it's funny how, like, Korra can say something like this, and because the line was actually getting like some positive feedback, like, oh, that's hilarious, and I was like, it's funny how her anger and frustrations are justified now among the fans, because if she would have said this in like book 2, people would have been like flipping out. They'd been like, oh, she's so ridiculous, and how can she talk to Tenzin like that? Oh, you know, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm completely against the whole Korra acting uncharacteristic in book 2. I thought all of her actions were completely justified. What did Tenzin say though to her? He was like, no, you just need to. Oh, you need to be thankful for the progress that you have made.
Yeah.
You know, and everything. So she's just kind of like, she walks off. He says, you know, Kuvira's got everything under control. You know, she's taking care of it. You know, and Korra says, you know, it should be me out there, not her. Oh yeah, I did jump way ahead.
Yeah, you kind of did. But
with Korra talking to her. Oh, Korra, you know, talking to Asami. But you know, when she was talking to her, when she was writing that letter to her, and showed her like kind of, she was up by that cliff,
practicing the
elements. Really amazing, beautiful scenery with all the stars and everything. Well, I kind of wish they would have spent more time on that scene actually. And then you have her meditating at that temple. I don't know what that building is actually.
Yeah,
it was at the very end of book 1.
Yeah.
Where she like gave Lynn her bending back. One thing I noticed though was that in this shot, in this particular scene, there were like spirit mushrooms.
Yeah,
and stuff
growing all over
growing all over it.
Yeah.
It seems like to me that the spirits have been congregating in spiritual areas in the world.
Probably why. Yeah. Probably true.
I mean, because like in book 3, like they were around that oasis in the desert.
Yeah.
And it's like it seems like a very like a natural spiritual phenomenon. You know, like it's it's a block of ice in the desert.
Yeah.
So Korra's eating dinner with her parents, and she says she wants to go back to Republic City. Now, I was when they first announced that Korra, and at the end of episode 1 of book 4, when they had announced that she wasn't there, she had left 6 months ago, and she was writing letters. I thought that like that was her plan to leave and just start.
Yeah, just start all over there, but
it wasn't. She actually did want to go back to Republic City. She did want to be back there with her friends, and she takes a boat on her own to get there. Maybe she said it would clear her head, and it almost seems like it might. She sees like these like dolphin things, and she's like smiling.
Yeah, flying fish.
Yeah, it's like okay. She seems like she's
getting a little bit better, if not now.
She's on the up and up, and then
she comes to the fishing village.
And this was hilarious, actually.
Actually, I kind of agree with having this particular piece of hot comedy in there. It was just kind of fun to see.
It was very fun. She goes to the fishing village. This guy is just kind of like sitting there, and she's like, and she's ordering some food or whatever. And then he's like, "You're the Avatar." She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, can I take a picture for my wall of avatars?"
Yeah.
Wall of avatars. Like, there's a bunch of them. No, it's just
Aang.
Aang. But freaking, it's Aang. Like, he's older.
He's webbing a wind barrier around two sushi rolls or something. It looked like
it was like that. It was like that time when he was, the first series when he went to Kyoshi Island, and he's like, "Check this out!"
Yeah,
and everyone's like, "Yeah!"
It looked exactly like that, pretty much. This is an older Aang.
Birth of the Foaming Mouth guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just classic. Did you know that the Foaming Mouth guy was actually made up by the animation studio?
I did not.
The writers did not put that in the script. They just decided to do that.
To the Foaming Mouth guy.
They just said, "Make crowd cheer," and then some guy just did this crazy Foaming Mouth guy. He's like,
just ran with it,
and everybody freaking loved it. And it's hilarious. I want to imagine that when Aang was there doing the sushi thing, I would imagine that there was like probably another Foaming Mouth guy. I don't know. We can only imagine.
An older Foaming Mouth guy.
Yeah, the same guy is there. The picture is great because it's the exact same expression on it. He's just older. That's it.
It's the only thing that's different. It's great. It really is
fantastic. It's good to know that Aang didn't lose his
sense of humor,
and goofiness, and his sense of fun. This is kind of the first time Korra has left home in like 2.5 years. And, this is kind of the first time she's coming back as the Avatar. And I don't know if she just thought she could handle these two guys or whatever. Two thieves, stealing some stuff. The guy's like, "Oh, go get them. You're the Avatar. Go get them."
And she immediately springs right into action and doesn't do real well.
She basically can't even take, one
rock to the face.
Yeah.
And it was like a dirt clod, actually.
Yeah. She finally makes it to Republic City. It's real late at night. She's coming into UA Bay, and this is the very first time, at least from what we've seen.
Yeah, at least chronologically, anyway.
Yeah, chronologically, she sees that dark Korra the very first time, but I wanted a bigger reaction from this though.
It kind of but I think maybe the first time she thought it was just a hallucination. Maybe the first time she didn't really understand what it was, wasn't quite sure that she was actually seeing what she was seeing.
Well, it was very weird though, because it was like it almost
seemed like it was enough to turn her boat around, but it might be that maybe I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not sure either. It was a very weird moment, in the whole episode. It was just it almost seemed like they brushed over it
fairly quickly, actually,
on purpose or something. Because I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but it's she sees that dark Korra and just kind of staring down at her, and it's like
maybe
well,
she
I mean,
just
you have the scene with the thieves.
yeah.
You know, so that happened. Maybe in the time between there and getting to Republic City, you know, this kind of thing festered in her head, like
Yeah, maybe I'm not the Avatar anymore. Maybe
and she sees this thing which
is becoming an almost embodiment of everything that's broken about her because it keeps attacking her. And
I said that it was like similar to what Aang went through when he would see visions or have nightmares of that wrathful Avatar.
yeah,
See himself in the Avatar state, coming down and just wiping people out. You know, he was afraid of that.
yeah,
He was terrified of that, becoming that. You know, in his eyes, a monster. And it's kind of similar to that. It's kind of like it's definitely much more though than just a vision. I think.
yeah.
But
It's almost living in its own right, but it does seem. I'm almost convinced now that it's kind of like that embodiment of wrath, but I don't think it's wrath for her. I think it's maybe shame or defeat in a way.
she turns the boat around. She goes back. Next scene, very iconic scene in the trailer. I was very pleased with it actually. I thought the music, they wrote a new piece of music for it. She got the Earth Kingdom clothing on. She takes off the armband,
Yeah,
you know, just
Trademark armband.
any scrap of water tribe, anything. She flings it into the water.
You see her gather up her hair and hesitate for just a moment. When she picks up the knife, right before she cuts, she hesitates.
The scene's almost like shot for shot.
Yeah.
The scene with Zuko and when Zuko and Iroh first cut their hair off.
Yeah.
Cutting of the hair is a sign of dishonor.
In some cases, yeah. Or at least the removal of your identity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seems like here. She's obviously trying to get away from being the Avatar. For whatever reason, I've already speculated. I'm pretty sure she's running away from her inability. At least.
She's like, oh, if I go back to Republic City, where all my friends are, I'll feel more like myself.
Yeah.
I'll have everybody that still remembers, how I was before.
And it'll come back to me.
It'll come back, and then she gets there and she sees this thing, and then she's like completely just abandoning her identity. The very next scene is her walking through the snow. She goes into the spirit world. She goes right into the Tree of Time and starts meditating. And,
And we have an army of cute.
just an army of cuteness. I mean, it could not be more cute. Like, I don't know what the spirits call it. I'm going to call it Jelly Leaf Baby.
Jelly Leaf Baby.
Jelly Leaf. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was very adorable.
Jelly Leaf Baby. She's like, she just sees Korra, and she just smiles like, hey, the Avatar, come on. Hey guys, look, it's the Avatar. And then we get Snail Spirit, little snail buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know what he is exactly. He's like, are you sure I don't sense any Rava energy around her? They're talking to her and they're like, oh, why you've been gone. And she's like, oh, I got hurt. And she's like, I can't go into the Avatar state. I can't. She does say I've been disconnected from my Avatar spirit, and she was hoping to go to the Tree of Time to figure out how to turn it back on and connect to it, I guess. And oh, maybe we can help you. No, I need to do this on my own. She leaves. The Tree of Time, and it just kind of shows her wandering around.
Yeah, montaging through a bunch of different areas, actually.
And, like pretty much everywhere she goes, she's seeing Dark Korra just kind of standing there, just kind of like this thing, just kind of watching her as she's traveling. I don't know.
Until you get to the desert.
Oh yeah, and during that we get to hear one of her letters that she sent to her parents, lying to them about where she is. This is a necessary journey for her, though. At least she feels that she needs to do this on her own, and she had to make a decision probably that she didn't go back to Republic City, so she has to lie to her parents so that they don't come looking for her, that people don't say, But to me, that whole thing has a lot of holes to it too, because it's like, what if he just wanted to, like, I don't know, write to Tenzin or something, or I don't know. I mean, anything like that could happen. I don't know why they don't have a phone. Why can't they make a phone call? They have phones in this world.
Yeah, but that's long miles to run wire.
Well, you know, they did send, you know, what do they call it, like sending a wire or whatever?
Yeah.
In season 1, and saw the radios.
Yeah.
The long distance radios they used in season 3, and they had the portable radios too. That actually was pretty
sophisticated technology.
Yeah, for you know, I mean,
for the time era we're in, like 20s and stuff.
Well, I think they're blending.
They're kind of blending, obviously. Yeah.
But she says that she's fine. She's doing okay. It's not going to raise suspicion. But the whole thing with like Tanarok coming back, what was that all about? Did he like write a letter to her?
And she intercepted somehow? Yeah, that's a little bit odd.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, yeah, because that letter would have been sent to the Air Temple more than likely, and she wasn't there, so I don't know why he came with that boat, other than, you know, convenience of story.
Yeah. The plot demanded it. So through all that like montage of her walking and seeing Dark Korra and just kind of not really interacting with Dark Korra, or at least not that we saw, she makes it to the desert and she's walking and she sees Rava. And I mean this whole wondering, this whole thing, because you know we had that scene where she's in the Tree of Time. She's like, I was hoping to come here to reconnect with the Avatar spirit, with Rava. And she's like, I have to do this on my own. And then right after that, we get to see that big, huge montage. So it's like she's going to find her, but like,
where is she going?
Where is she going? Like,
it doesn't really.
Like, what is she doing? Like, I'm just gonna wander around for a long time until I find Rava. Is Dark Korra Rava?
I think it's an aspect or something like Rava trying to get in touch with her.
Korra doesn't have her past lives anymore to tell her things.
Yeah.
So how can Rava communicate to her?
Maybe through a beating tar out of her with a metal chain whip.
The metal chain whip. She sees Rava. Rava's not really there.
Yeah, and that was interesting. Was it mirage? Was it something she wanted to see?
Something that Rava was trying to show her?
Maybe. I don't know. But it was definitely not the Dark Korra that we've been seeing all the time, so.
No. I mean, it was just a weird. It just seemed like a big deal to like put this in a montage.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, it was the end cap to the montage, but still. I mean, I don't know. The pacing was great. I love the pacing of the episode, but like I was saying, I wish they would have done this in 2 episodes. I think, unless they're going to be spending, you know, the next few episodes dealing more with this stuff.
Which I'm pretty sure they probably at least are going to be dealing with her.
We'll get more explanation as to like exactly what is going on.
Yeah.
Because the Dark Korra is very vague.
Yeah.
So vague. It just
so many different ideas on what that could be.
Yeah. I mean, the chronological first time of her seeing Dark Korra just seems so glossed over to me.
Yeah.
I was like, it's so vague. We gotta get more information on this thing.
I like how it came after the question, are you sure she's the Avatar?
Yeah, one more flashback. It's like right before the current time period. She sees Dark Korra again. She's like, I'm ending this.
Chases her.
Yeah, ending it meaning,
I don't know,
like ending the annoyance of seeing her all the time.
That's what I'm thinking is probably the issue there.
But we haven't really gotten anything. I mean, and chronologically, for like interacting with this thing. This
is like the first time of her actually, like, at least physically, you know, doing anything about this dark version of herself that she keeps seeing.
I would have been questioning it like right at the bat, like what the crap is this? What is going on here?
I think she was ignoring it. She's like, I'm just, you know.
That's true, because when the dog did see it,
that's when
she was like, "Oh, I'm not crazy," you know.
Yeah.
So maybe up until that point, she was just like, "I guess I'm going crazy, or I'm going to ignore it. I'm in denial." You know, I'm seeing myself from, you know, a few years ago in the Avatar state, walking around. So she goes and follows. This thing is like
leading her straight into that first scene
yeah.
we see her in.
Into the ring, standing there looking at her. She goes into the ring and fights her.
Yeah.
Come to find out, her fighting the Earthbender in the end of the first episode, she's actually seeing Dark Korra in place of that. So it's because that happens. It catches up. She makes it to the swamp. The dog they do the swamp. It's actually the spirit, the jelly baby spirit.
Jelly baby spirit. That's a great name for it. I like that.
It's got to be the jelly baby. And she's like, "Oh, hey, it's you. You should have told me.
You wouldn't have followed me if I had."
Yeah,
which is true. She wouldn't have followed me.
But it's like, man, can't they learn? Like, nobody learns. Like,
nope.
Friggin' the spirits want to help you. Like, trust the spirits. Like, they're not trying to hurt you. Like, I know there was dark spirits in book 2.
Yeah.
They're not dark anymore. It's a jelly baby.
Yeah.
It's a little baby.
It's not Ko. You don't have to worry about this one.
Yeah, it's not Ko. It's not trying to steal your face. Maybe jelly baby is Ko.
Maybe it is.
That's a twist that I want to see. No. So she's like, "What am I gonna find here?" And then jelly baby's like, "Not a what, a who?" And then flies off. And she's like, "What?" And she starts chasing jelly baby, and then freaking runs into
Dark Korra again.
And we get that really cool like slow motion shot that I love that scene from the trailer. She's like, "Oh crap," and she's like, "Oh, I know you're just in my head." And then I don't know. Like I said, to me, this is confirmation that it's not just in her head. 2 key things here. A, she said, "You're just in my head," and then the thing attacked her and actually like blew her back.
Yeah.
2, the thing moves like a dark spirit. If you remember the dark spirits from book 2, the very first dark spirit she actually fought, it moved exactly like that. In the same sound effect of that, like weird kind of whispery, whipping kind of noise. The way it moves too, it's like it's like it's possessed or something. Yeah, it's like very very creepy.
Very cool animation for it. It really is.
You're probably it probably is that embodiment of like fear and
doubt and everything.
It's like showing it just. It's a very cool way to do it if that's what it is. This part was in the trailer and I thought it was going to be, a really big deal. Like we were saying stuff like, Kuvira is like metal bending mercury around her, and no, she's a mercury bender, and it was going to be really awesome because that would have been a really cool ability.
That would have been apparently very good against the Avatar or any bender, I would assume, but
yeah. But no, it was just another part of Dark Korra, which again goes into the whole embodiment of fear. This was something that she's afraid of, in the mercury. So it's kind of like that same symbolism of, pulling you into the thing that you're most afraid of.
Yeah.
But it's a necessary step because what does it lead to? It leads to her finding Toph. This thing, this Dark Korra, it pulled her in, but it led her to something good. So
yeah, I think it's trying to help her.
One thing that was interesting with Toph was that she could sense that Korra was the Avatar before she could sense that she was like Korra.
Yeah.
It was like
she could sense it before the spirits could sense it. That was interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, unless she like knew who Korra was, beforehand, maybe she just like she's like what would she say? She's like, "Oh, how'd you find me?" or something or whatever. And she's like, "I'm pretty tapped into the goings on around here." I can just imagine Toph has like the ability to like just stomp on the ground once
and
see
like,
everything for miles.
All of the swamp. Or it doesn't even have to stomp anymore. She can just walk into it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she has perfected
her tremor sense 100%.
Toph was like at the age of 12. She was already like a walking god. Seriously, she could freaking like they handicapped her so much in like season 2, and then they literally handicapped her in season 3.
Yeah.
Burnt her feet so she couldn't actually do anything because she could easily just take down anybody. They always had to handicap her. They always had to push her off to the side. She could take out anybody. She could freaking take down
anybody who's not an airbender.
I mean, Korra's, she's not doing that great. They better send Toph to go take out Kuvira because, I mean, she might as well do it. I want to see that actually. I hope Toph does
something in this season.
Well, what everybody wants to see and what I want to see is Toph, Katara, and Zuko team up and fight. Actually, I want to see them fight. I know they're old, but we saw Zuko fight a little bit.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Katara fight, but I'm sure she can still fight. She's pretty dang old, but I mean, people live quite a long time in this world. It seems like.
Yeah.
80s and 90s don't seem that bad. Boomy, he was 112.
Yeah, but he seemed like he was a special case. Of course, you got Avatar Kyoshi. And
yeah, she's 230 years old or something.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, well, I think Avatars live longer. To me, it's like the more experienced of a bender you are, the more powerful you are, the less you have to do in order to do like more. So, we joked about Toph just in general walking could sense everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of serious about that. I think she
probably couldn't see at least all the swamp, if nothing else. I'm not sure how far it goes out, but I'm sure she can see a lot.
Yeah. Toph was just such a great character in the series. She was just such a unique, really special character. And I think people probably felt like she didn't get enough screen time. She was often used as like an like a mouthpiece for like exposition. Sometimes she would just explain the situation more simply.
Yeah.
She would often echo people, and I think bringing Toph back as like this kind of, I'm assuming, much bigger character for the last season is really cool. Actually, I mean, come on. I mean, it's Toph. She's her daughter started the Metal Clan. Kuvira came out of the Metal Clan. Toph is going to be a big player in the finale of this book. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. I could be wrong. She could be like, "Well, I've taught you everything you need to know, Korra. Goodbye." And then that's the last time we see her.
Syria. She fades into the Force.
I think people will probably throw a huge, gigantic fit if that happened. So, and I think they know that. And I heard the creators in some interviews and stuff have said that everything kind of wraps up in a really big way. The only thing I can think of is everybody comes back for just a big, huge, awesome, epic battle. You got, Zuko, Katara, Toph. Maybe Suki's still out there. Maybe some other people from the original Team Avatar are still out there. Actually, I can't think of anybody else. Aang's gone.
Dead. Yeah.
Sokka's dead. They said that in the first season. The person I can think of is Suki.
Yeah.
I guess May and Ty Lee can still be alive.
So they weren't really Team Avatar people, so.
No, but they did turn good.
Can bring Jet back.
No. Did he die, though?
Did he really?
I think he's still alive. I think he's still in that.
That's how they're going to wrap everything up.
Jet comes back.
He didn't die!
Wasn't dead. Yeah, he wasn't dead. That'd be hilarious. Like, I could totally imagine him doing that, though.
Just bring him back. He's not actually dead.
He's an old guy with a freaking piece of, straw
sticking out of his mouth.
Random. Toph's design is really cool, I think. She definitely looks like, you were saying this, she looks like a swamp lady.
Oh, yeah, she looks like, the hag that lives in the swamp somewhere.
Yeah. But she looked good, though. Like,
yeah, she wasn't like a horrific sight, but it was.
She wasn't Hama. Hama was just freaking frightening.
Evil.
Yeah, I mean, just
she looked evil.
I mean, it was cool. People say, because some people were saying that Toph reminded them of Hama. And I'm thinking, why? Because she has long white hair? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
she does kind of, I don't know. If you didn't know who Toph was, of course, you would kind of get that vibe from her, I guess. She does kind of have that same, this person is way more powerful than their appearance lets you, fills you in on.
Yeah. I didn't expect myself to kind of, geek out a little bit, but like...
yeah, I know. I saw it coming, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, you're like, oh man, it's Toph! Like, it's so cool when you think about it. Like, that little tiny freaking demon. Like, even like a little bit of her, like, just talking. The voice actor they got is perfect. Like, sounded just like her. I mean, that was just fantastic. Just that little bit of her talking, the way she spoke,
Like, she got the mannerisms, the everything about her, like the confidence and almost playful, childlike thing was still there, even after all these years.
Toph was, to me, Toph was like, she was such a unique character because she was so young, but she seemed very wise beyond her years. She seemed confident. Yeah, she was a really cool character actually. For being a secondary character. Some people were very mixed. Some people were very split down the middle of her, saying nice to see you again, Twinkle Toes. I'm a little bit split down the middle of that too. It's like I was kind of hoping she would give Korra a different nickname.
I kind of liked it actually. I kind of liked the.
It was a good callback.
Yeah, well, that and it kind of plays with her whole thing in where she was talking like, do you think friendship lasts beyond one lifetime type thing?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like almost like she doesn't really see Korra as Korra or just Korra. She sees her as Aang as well.
Mm. And people have been making fun of Korra in the swamp.
Yeah, I was trying not to make the Yoda reference, but it comes to you. It really does. It
does.
It's definitely Yoda in the swamp.
I mean, even like her clothing.
Yeah,
the
kind of.
Backpack,
Yeah,
it looks like Luke Skywalker.
And the scene with her walking into the the pushing her way through the vines, and then you've got Dark Korra standing there. It's
I mean, Bryan Konietzko is a really, really big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So now, to talk about a few theories that, I mean, I know we're two episodes in, but this episode was just chock full of stuff that I think is going to just resonate throughout the whole rest of the season. So the biggest one is Dark Korra.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it bad? What is it? Is it a figment of our imagination? Is it tangible? Is it real? Is it helping her? Is it all those things? What is it? That one makes the most sense to me. That it's helping her because of her pulling her down to Mercury.
It's almost trying to force her to face her fears, face what's happened to her, and kind of bring balance to her. God, I said the title anyway.
Bring balance, maybe.
No.
It led her to the ring,
and it's definitely leading her to something.
It's doing something. Yeah, it's there. I mean, okay, embodiment of regret and things, but it's something that she has to face. It's something that she has to embrace because it's part of her life. And I think it goes with like some of Mike and Brian's kind of philosophies and stuff about, you go through life, things in your life, even though they're negative, you have to embrace them. It's part of your life. It ultimately helps you becoming a better person or becoming the person you were meant to be. I like how as we're coming to the close of Korra and as we came to the close of Avatar, how similar Korra and Aang are becoming if you pair them together. Of how they've all reached their dark places. They're all coming to the same conclusion of what the Avatar is and what it means to be the Avatar and stuff. And that's so some of my theories. Rava and Vaatu. Well, okay. Vaatu is coming out of Rava in some way, shape, or form. Due to the events of the end of Book 3, all the trauma, all that stuff happening to Korra. Did that somehow trigger Vaatu to spark? Just like, Rava sparking inside of Vaatu. I mean, how did that happen,
Yeah.
So, could they be doing a reverse thing? And Korra has to deal with a light and a dark side?
It's certainly not out of it's not out of the realm of possibility, to be honest, for a type of thing that she has to come on grips with both the dark and the light within her. God, I'm making too many Star Wars references. This thing is just chock full of Star Wars references. Okay, there we go. That's all we needed.
For the last theory I'll probably talk about, Korra, Korra having these Zahir flashbacks. We had the Dark Korra thing, and I feel like that almost like kind of it made you forget about the Zahir flashbacks a little bit.
It kind of almost took the place of the Zahir or flashbacks. Like before that, is she really the Avatar moment? They were all Zahir flashbacks, and then after that, you didn't see another Zahir flashback at all
Yeah, I don't know if they are just going to
replace it, but
yeah.
I don't know. You think that
she might
have
possibly face him.
Might have to just come to grips with.
They didn't kill him off.
Nope.
They could have easily killed him off. They could have just very subtly mentioned that he isn't around anymore.
Yeah, he died in prison or something.
Yeah, and they didn't do that. He's still in prison. It's very possible she might meet him in the spirit world.
Might.
Can talk to him, confront him. We will be seeing Korra in the spirit world again, and not just because we saw it in the trailer, but I think that it just stands to reason that she's going to
have to deal with it.
Something big is going to happen in the spirit world, and it could have to deal with Zahir / Dark Korra and finding
the fracturing,
fragmented stuff here. Overall thoughts?
Amazing episode.
Yeah, I wrote my notes here. This episode was beautiful, and it had very, very subtle, beautiful moments, especially toward the beginning of the episode. Pretty much when the flashbacks started with Korra and just depressed Korra, and then Korra recuperating and all that stuff, and the music and her cutting her hair, all the scenery they had, like the starry sky scenery,
the volcano, everything was just
gorgeous.
Gorgeous,
Like the studio mirror does not cease to amaze me. It's like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode, even though it dealt with a lot of darker themes, a lot of like psychological themes, it was ultimately very calm. I guess that's in a way, it's kind of like Korra is always up and ready to go, and she's action packed. That's her normal, and so to be calm and not even doing anything, that's kind of not her normal.
That's not her at all.
So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that that's the tone they wanted to go for. Did you have any closing thoughts or anything about this episode in particular?
Jelly Baby was cute.
Jelly Baby Jelly Baby needs to have her own episode.
Needs to have its own spin-off series.
Legend of Jelly Baby. That's gonna be the
next thing they work on right there.
The next episode is actually devoted to Jelly Baby.
It's actually titled Jelly Baby.
Next week's episode, that'll be October 17th, is going to be the coronation. They already had a clip for it. It was basically just Prince Wu talking about what they're gonna do for the coronation or whatever, and like Prince Wu's doing this crazy dance or something. It was actually very funny. To me, it's that clip that they show you that like probably has really nothing to do with
the overall episode.
Yeah, but like if Kuvira is
trying to take his
place, something's gonna go down in this episode.
Yeah.
So
whichever way she decides it. Now, if she tries to use him, I'm not sure what will go down. But if she's trying to usurp him totally, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Overall, I think this is one of the best episodes, if not the best episode, of the entire series. Just the pacing, everything about it. Like I said, this is really, really great episode. And I would like to see more episodes like this. I don't think it's going to be. I think there's going to be
more action and
more action, and we'll probably be caught up now in the story.
Probably won't have too many more flashbacks, other than maybe Kuvira's, but I'm not sure that that'll actually be necessary.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for
a little bit of Kuvira in this,
but it was Korra alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, what you guys thought of the episode. What are your guys' theories? What do you guys think this Dark Korra is?
Really?
Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.